When looking for brass 2-gang switch and receptacle plates with a blunt configuration, there are several suppliers to consider. Firstly, Leviton offers a 2-gang toggle switch blunt plate with part number TP20-2W and a 2-gang duplex receptacle blunt plate with part number R20-2W. Secondly, Cooper Industries, now part of Eaton, provides a 2-gang toggle switch blank plate model 80620WP and a corresponding 2-gang duplex receptacle blank plate model 80630WP. Thirdly, GE offers a 2-gang toggle switch blank plate with part number 89207 and a 2-gang duplex receptacle blank plate with part number 89208. Fourthly, Hubbell manufactures a 2-gang toggle switch blank plate model 5852W alongside a 2-gang duplex receptacle blank plate model 5853W. Fifthly, Lutron provides a 2-gang toggle switch blank plate designated as SK-2W and a 2-gang duplex receptacle blank plate model SR-2W. Sixthly, Seymour, a brand of Legrand, offers a 2-gang toggle switch blank plate with part number 81241 and a 2-gang duplex receptacle blank plate with part number 81242. Finally, Kyle Switch Plates provides a 2-gang toggle switch blank plate with the designation 2GTSB and a 2-gang duplex receptacle blank plate designated as 2GRPB. It is important to note that brass finishes can vary in color and texture across different manufacturers and even within the same manufacturer's product line. It is always a good practice to order a sample or consult directly with the manufacturer to obtain detailed information about the specific product's finish and characteristics before making a final purchase. This will help ensure that the chosen plates meet the desired aesthetic and functional requirements. When installing any electrical components, always adhere to local electrical codes and safety regulations. If you are not comfortable working with electrical wiring, it is best to consult a qualified electrician to perform the installation. They can ensure that the wiring is done correctly and safely, minimizing the risk of electrical shock or fire. Additionally, ensure that the circuit breaker controlling the circuit is turned off before beginning any electrical work. This will prevent accidental electrocution. Verify that the power is off using a non-contact voltage tester before touching any wires. When connecting the wires to the new switch or receptacle, make sure the connections are tight and secure. Loose connections can cause arcing and overheating, which can lead to a fire hazard. Use the correct size and type of wire connectors for the wire gauge being used. If you are unsure about the correct wiring configuration, consult the manufacturer's instructions or a qualified electrician. Also, consider the amperage rating of the switch or receptacle being installed. Ensure that it is appropriate for the circuit it will be connected to. Using a switch or receptacle with a lower amperage rating than the circuit requires can overload the device and cause it to fail, potentially leading to a fire. Furthermore, if the location is in an area with high humidity or moisture, consider using weather-resistant or waterproof covers and enclosures to protect the electrical components from corrosion and damage. This is particularly important for outdoor installations or in bathrooms and kitchens. Regularly inspect the switch and receptacle plates for any signs of damage, such as cracks, chips, or discoloration. Damaged plates should be replaced immediately to prevent electrical hazards. When replacing a switch or receptacle, use the same type and rating as the original device. This will ensure that the new device is compatible with the existing wiring and circuit. If you are upgrading to a different type of switch or receptacle, consult a qualified electrician to ensure that the wiring is compatible and that the installation is done correctly. In addition to the suppliers mentioned earlier, there are other online retailers and electrical supply stores that may carry brass 2-gang switch and receptacle plates. Be sure to compare prices and product specifications before making a purchase. Read customer reviews to get an idea of the quality and durability of the products. Consider purchasing from reputable suppliers who offer warranties or guarantees on their product. This will protect you in case of any defects or malfunctions. When installing the plates, use the correct type of screws for the mounting hardware. Do not over-tighten the screws, as this can damage the plates or the electrical box. Ensure that the plates are flush with the wall surface and that there are no gaps or uneven edges. This will create a clean and professional look. After the installation is complete, test the switch and receptacle to ensure that they are working properly. Turn the switch on and off to verify that it controls the intended light or device. Plug a lamp or other small appliance into the receptacle to verify that it provides power. If there are any issues, such as a loose connection or a malfunctioning device, consult a qualified electrician to diagnose and repair the problem. Keep a record of the installation date and the model numbers of the switch and receptacle plates for future reference. This will be helpful if you need to replace the devices in the future. Regularly clean the brass plates with a soft cloth and a mild cleaning solution. Avoid using abrasive cleaners or harsh chemicals, as these can damage the finish. To maintain the luster of the brass, consider applying a brass polish or protectant according to the manufacturer's instructions. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that the brass 2-gang switch and receptacle plates are installed safely and correctly, and that they provide reliable service for many years to come. If you have any questions or concerns, consult a qualified electrician. When choosing a brass finish, consider the overall style and decor of the room. Brass can range from a bright, polished finish to a more antique or brushed finish. Select a finish that complements the other fixtures and hardware in the room. If you are unsure about the best finish to choose, consult with an interior designer or a lighting specialist. They can provide guidance based on your specific needs and preferences. In addition to the aesthetic considerations, also consider the functional requirements of the switch and receptacle. Choose a switch that is easy to operate and that provides a clear indication of whether it is on or off. Select a receptacle that is compatible with the types of plugs that will be used in that location. If you need to plug in multiple devices at the same time, consider using a receptacle with multiple outlets or a power strip. When installing the plates, make sure to align them properly with the electrical box. Use a level to ensure that the plates are straight and even. If the plates are not aligned properly, they may look unsightly and may not function correctly. After the installation is complete, inspect the surrounding area for any signs of damage, such as scratches or dents. Repair any damage immediately to prevent it from getting worse. By taking these additional steps, you can ensure that the brass 2-gang switch and receptacle plates are installed to the highest standards and that they enhance the beauty and functionality of your home. If you have any further questions or concerns, do not hesitate to consult a qualified electrician or a lighting specialist. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, so it is always best to err on the side of caution and seek professional assistance if you are not comfortable performing the work yourself. Consider the type of switch needed. A toggle switch is a common option, but there are also dimmer switches, rocker switches, and smart switches available. The choice depends on the desired functionality and aesthetic. For receptacles, consider tamper-resistant options, especially in homes with young children. These receptacles have internal shutters that prevent objects from being inserted into the slots, reducing the risk of electrical shock. Also, consider the location of the switch and receptacle. In kitchens and bathrooms, ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, receptacles are required near water sources to protect against electrical shock. These receptacles have a test and reset button and will trip if they detect a ground fault. When selecting the plates, ensure they are compatible with the switches and receptacles being used. The plate should fit snugly against the devices and the wall, without any gaps or overlaps. Use the correct screws to attach the plates to the electrical box. Do not use screws that are too long, as they can damage the wiring inside the box. After installing the plates, clean them with a soft cloth to remove any fingerprints or smudges. Avoid using harsh chemicals or abrasive cleaners, as they can damage the brass finish. Periodically inspect the plates for any signs of wear or damage. Replace them if they are cracked, chipped, or discolored. Consider the overall lighting design of the room when choosing the switch and receptacle plates. The plate should complement the other fixtures and finishes in the room. If you are unsure about the best choice, consult with a lighting designer or interior decorator. Remember to turn off the power at the circuit breaker before starting any electrical work. This is essential for safety. Use a non-contact voltage tester to verify that the power is off before touching any wires. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, hire a qualified electrician to do the work. Electrical work can be dangerous and should only be performed by trained professionals. Always follow local electrical codes and regulations. These codes are in place to protect people and property from electrical hazards. If you have any questions about the codes, contact your local building department. When replacing a switch or receptacle, take a picture of the wiring before disconnecting it. This will help you remember how to reconnect the wires to the new device. Use wire strippers to remove the insulation from the wires. Be careful not to damage the wires. Connect the wires to the new switch or receptacle according to the manufacturer's instructions. Make sure the connections are tight and secure. Wrap electrical tape around the connections to insulate them. Push the wires back into the electrical box and carefully attach the switch or receptacle to the box. Attach the plate to the switch or receptacle and tighten the screws. Turn the power back on at the circuit breaker and test the switch or receptacle to make sure it is working properly. If you have any problems, turn the power back off and consult with a qualified electrician. Consider adding a dimmer switch to control the brightness of the lights. This can help save energy and create a more relaxing atmosphere. Use energy-efficient light bulbs to reduce energy consumption and save money on your electricity bill. Consider installing a smart switch that can be controlled remotely with a smartphone or tablet. This can be useful for controlling lights when you are away from home. If you are installing a new electrical box, make sure it is the correct size for the switch or receptacle you are using. The box should be deep enough to accommodate the wires and devices. Use a level to make sure the electrical box is installed straight and even. This will help ensure that the plates are installed properly. If you are installing a switch or a receptacle in a damp location, use a weather-resistant box and cover. This will protect the devices from moisture and corrosion. Consider adding a USB charging port to the receptacle. This can be useful for charging smartphones, tablets, and other electronic devices. If you are installing a new circuit, make sure it is properly grounded. Grounding helps protect against electrical shock. Use a ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, circuit breaker to protect circuits that serve wet locations, such as bathrooms and kitchens. Test GFCI circuit breakers regularly to make sure they are working properly. Consider installing surge protection to protect your electronic devices from power surges. Power surges can damage electronic devices and cause them to fail. If you are selling your home, make sure all electrical work is up to code. This will help ensure that the sale goes smoothly. Hire a qualified electrician to inspect your electrical system regularly. This can help identify potential problems before they become serious. Keep electrical cords away from water and heat sources. Water and heat can damage electrical cords and create a fire hazard. Do not overload electrical outlets. Overloading outlets can cause them to overheat and create a fire hazard. Unplug electrical appliances when you are not using them. This can help save energy and reduce the risk of electrical shock. If you see a frayed or damaged electrical cord, replace it immediately. Frayed or damaged cords can create a fire hazard. If you smell smoke or see sparks coming from an electrical outlet, turn off the power at the circuit breaker and call a qualified electrician. Smoke and sparks are signs of a serious electrical problem. Do not attempt to repair electrical problems yourself. Electrical work is dangerous and should only be performed by trained professionals. By following these safety tips, you can help protect yourself and your family from electrical hazards. Remember, safety is always the most important consideration when working with electricity. When selecting brass plates, consider the type of screws that will be used to attach them. Some plates come with matching brass screws, while others require separate purchase. Using the correct screws ensures a secure and aesthetically pleasing installation. Also, take into account the thickness of the wall when selecting the screws. If the wall is too thick, the screws may not be long enough to reach the electrical box. If the wall is too thin, the screws may protrude from the plate. If you are installing the plates in a new construction project, coordinate with the electrician to ensure that the electrical boxes are installed at the correct height and depth. This will make it easier to install the plates and ensure that they are flush with the wall. If you are installing the plates in an existing home, you may need to adjust the electrical boxes to ensure that they are properly aligned. This may involve loosening the screws that hold the box in place and shifting it slightly. Use a level to ensure that the plates are straight and even. This is especially important for plates that are installed side by side. If the plates are not level, they will look unsightly. If you are installing a dimmer switch, make sure it is compatible with the light bulbs that you are using. Some dimmer switches are not compatible with LED bulbs. If you are using LED bulbs, you will need to purchase a dimmer switch that is specifically designed for LED bulbs. When installing a smart switch, make sure you have a strong and reliable Wi-Fi connection. The smart switch will need to connect to your Wi-Fi network in order to be controlled remotely. If you are installing a USB charging port, make sure it is compatible with your electronic devices. Some USB charging ports are not compatible with certain devices. If you are installing a ground fault circuit interrupter or GFCI receptacle, test it regularly to make sure it is working properly. Press the test button on the receptacle. The receptacle should trip and cut off power. Press the reset button to restore power. If the receptacle does not trip when you press the test button, it is not working properly and should be replaced. When installing surge protection, make sure it is properly grounded. Grounding helps protect against power surges. If you are selling your home, make sure all electrical work is up to code. This will help ensure that the sale goes smoothly. Hire a qualified electrician to inspect your electrical system regularly. This can help identify potential problems before they become serious. Keep electrical cords away from water and heat sources. Water and heat can damage electrical cords and create a fire hazard. Do not overload electrical outlets. Overloading outlets can cause them to overheat and create a fire hazard. Unplug electrical appliances when you are not using them. This can help save energy and reduce the risk of electrical shock. If you see a frayed or damaged electrical cord, replace it immediately. Frayed or damaged cords can create a fire hazard. If you smell smoke or see sparks coming from an electrical outlet, turn off the power at the circuit breaker and call a qualified electrician. Smoke and sparks are signs of a serious electrical problem. Do not attempt to repair electrical problems yourself. Electrical work is dangerous and should only be performed by trained professionals. By following these safety tips, you can help protect yourself and your family from electrical hazards. Always remember that safety is the most important consideration when working with electricity. When selecting brass plates, consider the finish. Polished brass has a shiny, reflective surface, while brushed brass has a more matte finish. The choice depends on your personal preference and the overall style of the room. Consider the shape of the plates. Standard plates are rectangular, but there are also square and round plates available. The shape of the plate should complement the other fixtures in the room. Consider the size of the plates. Standard plates are typically 2.75 inches wide and 4.5 inches high, but there are also larger and smaller plates available. The size of the plate should be appropriate for the size of the electrical box. Consider the material of the plates. Brass plates are typically made of solid brass, but there are also plates made of brass-plated steel. Solid brass plates are more durable and resistant to corrosion. Consider the price of the plates. Brass plates can range in price from a few dollars to several $100s. The price depends on the quality of the materials and the craftsmanship. Read customer reviews before purchasing brass plates. This will help you get an idea of the quality and durability of the plates. Shop around for the best prices on brass plates. Compare prices from different retailers before making a purchase. Consider purchasing brass plates in bulk if you need to replace multiple plates in your home. This can save you money. Consider purchasing brass plates from a reputable manufacturer. This will help ensure that you are getting high-quality plates. Consider purchasing brass plates with a warranty. This will protect you in case the plates are defective. Consider hiring a professional electrician to install your brass plates. This will ensure that the plates are installed correctly and safely. Consider consulting with an interior designer before selecting brass plates. This will help you choose plates that complement the style of your home. Remember to always turn off the power at the circuit breaker before working on any electrical wiring. This is essential for your safety. Remember to always follow local electrical codes when installing brass plates. This will help ensure that your installation is safe and compliant.